And we are back for what I can only assume to be the final time. We are now 2 weeks away from the launch of Age of Imprisonment, and Nintendo has just dropped what looks to be the final trailer for the game. This trailer is super interesting in my opinion, and it's only solidified my hype for the game. It doesn't reveal too much in terms of lore or major story beats. In fact, I think this trailer might have given me the least amount of things to talk about. By this point, you all know the drill. This video will be shorter and less scripted, with me voicing my thoughts on everything that's shown off. I don't expect this one to be as long as the other 2 discussions, but I guess we'll know for sure when the video is finished. In fact, editing me will probably put a note on the screen right now. Wow, look at that! It is or isn't as long as the other 2. Woohoo! Enough yapping, let's get into it. So, right off the bat, we start off with Rauru saying something pretty interesting. I'm just gonna go ahead and let it play out right now.
A power that great tests the very depths of its bearer's soul. Just like the secret stones. It seems you can be used for good or evil.
Now, while we don't know who or what he's talking about in this instance, I think if I had to guess, Rauru is talking about the construct. This is namely because, as Rauru starts talking, the construct appears on screen. Amazing observation, I know. Though it's the second part of what he says that really got me thinking. You can be used for good or evil. This makes me think that we could have a Terrico situation on our hand, where the construct will be possessed or corrupted by Ganondorf and he must be destroyed. If this is the case, I can see this having a major impact on 2 characters in particular, Zelda and the Korok. Zelda having a connection to the construct feels relatively self-explanatory. If I had to make a guess, I'd think that the construct would be introduced around the beginning or midway through the game. And I think that the trailer shows us the first part where she meets the construct right here, where we see that she's slowly reaching out towards the construct, only to hesitate and pull her hand back a little bit. Now we can tell that she's reaching for the construct based on the locks of glowing hair and the garments that he's wearing. Now, why do I think that this is the first time they're meeting? Well, it's largely due to how Zelda is reacting here. You have to remember that at this point, Zelda's likely gotten used to living in Rauru's time. She hasn't seen Link in quite a while, and suddenly she's met with this construct that looks strikingly similar to Link. If I had to guess, she's reaching out to touch it because she's not sure if what she's seeing is real. Of course, she'll quickly realize that this isn't Link, but I can only imagine that the way it will act will remind her of Link. And having it get corrupted and needing to be destroyed would definitely add some heavy emotional weight to the story and Zelda's character arc as a whole. Now, the Korok, on the other hand, I feel like is a bit easier to tie to the construct. For some reason, the Korok and the construct have been shown together on multiple occasions. They're next to each other on the box art. During the last trailer, when we saw the construct flying around the Gleeok, if you looked super carefully, you could see that the Korok was on his back. When Zelda is reaching for the construct, we can see what looks to be the Korok's mask right there. When the construct is shown walking off, we can see the Korok is chasing after him. And we can even see that they have a sync strike together in this trailer. So I think that these 2 are definitely going to become close throughout the story, with the Korok probably making one of his first true friends. And then for the construct to get corrupted and need to be destroyed, obviously would wreck this poor little guy. Like, I love him. He's adorable and he's so cool. Speaking of the Korok, we actually know his name now. So as I was writing the script, Nintendo made a post on Twitter, and revealed that his name is Kalamo. Now this name is actually kind of cool because Zelda tuber Gaybora actually pointed out to me and a few other Zelda tubers that Kalamo's name is likely derived from the extinct plant Kalamophyton, which happened to be a large tree. Now, while this could be a coincidence, it kind of lends credence to the theory that Kalamo is going to become the Great Deku Tree. Moving on to this next little bit, we get a glimpse of the bosses again, like we did in the last trailer, and I gotta say, I think I was right on the money. So, if you didn't see the last video, or if you just need a quick refresher, I theorized that all the bosses we would face in Age of Imprisonment would be the same ones from Tears of the Kingdom, but more humanoid and more Ganonized, for lack of a better word, because this is when they're at their strongest. And from what it looks like, yeah, I think that's the case. We get a good look at Colgera and Queen Goma, and yeah, they are heavily humanoid in a lot of cases. Colgera specifically, what is this? I don't know what to think of this, and I don't know if I like it or not. It's really uncanny. I can't think of what to say about it. Like, you can see that I'm tripping over my words a lot more than usual here, but it's, I don't like it. I kill it with fire. Queen Goma, however, I really like how she looks here. I really like how her moth-like wings imitate sort of a dress as she spins around and whips up a sandstorm. This looks really, really, really cool. I really think that this is a neat design. Now, being totally honest, that's kind of it for this trailer in terms of things I want to discuss. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, this didn't give a lot that I felt really stood out and was worth, talking about. However, that doesn't mean that we're done, because the Japanese website actually gives us some more information. So with this shot in the trailer, we see a number of characters that we've only gotten quick glimpses of before. Most notably, the mystery Rito from the last trailer that we only saw for a few seconds. Now, if you've seen the short I did on this character, I think that they are going to end up being the distant ancestor of Revali. I could very well be wrong, but if I'm right, everyone who watched that video has to subscribe if they aren't already, because if I predicted that, no, you have no excuse. Subscribe. Anyway, we also see an unknown Zora and an unknown Hylian. Now, the Zora we actually see at another point in the trailer doing what looks to be a sync strike with the Zora Sage. We will get to her in a moment. But right after the trailer dropped, the Japanese website actually shadow dropped some new information about a lot of these characters. Now, I'm not entirely fluent in Japanese, but I got rough translations of what the website said. Notably, the section on these new characters simply calls them warriors, and says that they join Zelda and the others in their battle against the Demon King. Now, given how some of these characters perform sync strikes with the sages, I'm still under the impression that some of them, specifically the Rito, Goron, Gerudo, and Zora, will have all been friends with the sages and will accompany them into battle. I definitely think that some of these characters have a really strong link to the sages, given their sync strike animations. I don't really have any evidence to support this, but call it a gut feeling. I could be right, I could be wrong, who knows, that's the point of theorizing. Now, finally, speaking of the sages, I've mentioned that we come back to them. We actually now know their names. Admittedly, we have known their names for quite some time now. Nintendo actually made a few posts on social media a couple of weeks ago. I want to say on October 6th is when they revealed their names. I would have made a video or short about it, but that was actually when I was out of the country on vacation, so I couldn't. But now that we're back recording a video on the final trailer, I figured that this is probably the best time to mention their names. So according to the posts on Instagram and Twitter, Kia is the name of the Zora Sage, Agraston is the name of the Goron Sage, Artie is the name of the Gerudo Sage, Rafika is the name of the Rito Sage, and Linalia is the Chamberlain who attends to Zelda. This is the person who recorded the messages on those tablets in Tears of the Kingdom. Now, honestly, I think it's really cool that we have names for these characters now, though I'm a little disappointed that they aren't the same names as the Divine Beasts. Again, I feel like that would have been really, really obvious. Like, it was right there. And on one hand, I kind of see why they didn't do it, but on the other hand, it feels like they should have. Now, honestly, I'm still trying to get used to the names. I still have to get used to calling the Rito Sage Rafika and not the Rito Sage, but now we know he has a name. That's pretty cool. And Okay, actually saying it now, I kind of like how Rafika rolls off the tongue. It sounds very, like, distinguished and, like, powerful. Rafika. Rafika. Okay, yeah, that's fun to say. I'm gonna be saying that for a while now. But anyway, that's kind of it for this video, really. Like I said earlier, I don't have a whole lot to say regarding the trailer. My hype for the game hasn't gone down at all, and I'm really excited just to finally play the game and see everything that we got right and wrong in our theories and begin making new videos and theories about what we learn about the game. I'm just so happy to have new Zelda content to talk about. My only complaint really is that this time, I don't really have a funny way to end this video. So, yeah. Bye.